incredibly amazing for me to be able to be a part of this beautiful film because it's historic, especially in our community. And I remember being, a little girl and being at my grandparents' house and having the movie always playing in the background. Like, I just grew up and you always knew the story of The Color Purple. So the fact that I got to be a part of this beautiful reimagination of it is truly, truly a dream come true. And I'm so excited for people to see this new version. I play young Nettie in this beautiful readaptation of the film. And what really attracted me to the role was my kind of history and sisterhood with my own sibling, Chloe, who is my best friend, who's my anchor, who's my guide or my guide through everything in life. And, so I felt like I had a lot of experience with sisterhood and how it can feel like when you're not together, your arm is missing. And, so I really played off of kind of the symbol of hope that my sister is for me and channeled that into young Nettie and her perspective and kind of her being this symbol of joy and hope and perseverance for her and Nettie, her and Celie, as they were going through such dark times, but still finding the light within them. So I was really grateful to be able to play her, and I hope people can feel that sisterhood. It feels incredible to be able to have a song a part of The Color Purple. Like, what? And let alone a song that I wrote is crazy to me. Excuse me. I literally am just, I'm filled with so much joy whenever I think of it. And, I've lived in kind of the musician world all my life. Like, singing is my comfort zone. That's where I feel, my most confident self. So this beautiful new acting world has been amazing. It's opened up so much for me, but I feel like I'm still learning so much. So being able to incorporate my love for music into now this new world of acting is so special, and getting to draw from my character's experience and use that for, I guess, fire and steam and spark for the writing material is beautiful. So I was so grateful when Blitz gave me that opportunity to do so with this song, Keep It Moving. And yeah, it's just more of the same. Nettie is a symbol of hope for both of them going through this dark, traumatic time. And this song is just a reminder to them both to keep it moving, keep your head up, even when the days look really dreary, it's going to be okay. The sun is going to come out again. Going on to this set, I mean, I was just a fangirl of everyone because, I mean, there's Fantasia, there's Taraji, there's like these pioneers, especially Black women pioneers who I've looked up to for so long, just as inspirations. So getting to be on the set and know that they're, rehearsing their lines in the trailer right next to me is like, what the heck? And then also getting to share this new experience with Phylicia, who plays my sister in the film. That was such a beautiful experience. We both are kind of still new to this whole world of acting, I guess. This is only my second feature film. This was her first. So I felt like we were kind of jumping into the pond of like possibilities together. And then being able to work with Colman, who is just, wow, he's the sweetest man alive ever. And then like watching him have to just switch to that angry, mean old man, Mister, was amazing to watch him transform. And I feel like I learned so much just from getting to work with both of them, who are amazing talents. I really feel like today's audience should want to see this reimagination of The Color Purple because it's a story of our history. We all know and love this story, but it's also a new story of redemption and freedom and power. And it shows it a little bit with a modern lens and makes it the message clearer. To me, as a young person, I feel like I've understood a lot more about this film just by being a part of this new adaptation. It brings out so much about hope and redemption and learning how to heal, basically, from your trauma. So I feel like it's a really, really great thing to be able to digest for this new generation. I feel like they'll catch on quicker. I have so many favorite memories from this experience, but my all-time favorite on set would definitely be watching Fantasia sing her song, I'm Here, live. I remember it was a cold night and I wasn't on the call sheet for that day. Neither was Phylicia, but we called each other up and we're like, hey, you want to go to set? Like, it's a night shoot, so it was dark and cold. We're like, let's just go to set and let's just go and get some of the headphones and sit by the monitors. Like, we literally were like sneaking just to go and watch Fantasia in all of her glory. And as she sang over and over again, it was just, oh my gosh, goosebumps. We were all crying. We were just all in awe of her and the talent that she is. So I would say that was definitely one of my favorite moments from being on set, getting to watch Fantasia just be the amazing, not only amazing vocalist she is, but also how beautiful her performance is in this film as an actress. I think people are just going to be blown away.
Everything. I've been a fan of the book, of both musicals on Broadway. The film I've probably seen at least 100 times. And then I never thought that I would be a part of the Color Purple experience. That was not something I sought out, but I loved it so much. I felt it was part of my DNA. So when I was offered this role, I thought, well, here's a great opportunity to find the Mista in me, to find out how, to figure out why people abuse, what his, but also what does he want, what does he need, what happens when he doesn't get it. Find out what his heart is made of. And just humanize him and not villainize him, but to find something human in him. So that was a great opportunity. You had offered a role like this and you're like, I didn't know exactly how to do it, but I had the curiosity. And that's what drives me for anything that I do. I'm like, I want to figure this out and figure out this person. It's a curiosity about people. And I feel really blessed. I feel blessed, especially with all the love that is around it, coming from Oprah and Scott and Blitz and Quincy, and it's just wonderful. It really is. It feels like a legacy work, to be honest. It feels like I know for sure I'm going to look back in my career many years down the line and know that I was very proud of being a part of this. We had one conversation, which was sort of like, I guess he was meeting with me about the role. He said, what are my thoughts about Mista? And I thought, well, I think I know Mistas. I've known them. And I know that they're troubled people, broken people, you know? And that's something to explore. I know that there's been many commentaries on past portrayals or that were just, villainized. Like they woke up one morning and they just wanted to beat Celie and you didn't understand why or what was behind it. And then that was a great opportunity. I wanted to find those moments where you see some vulnerability in Mista and you also see some fear. Because I think people who do abusive things like he does have a lot of fear and they have a lot of insecurity. You want to find out, get to the bottom of it so you can break it. You can break that pattern. So we talked about that. And I also wanted to show a level of tenderness in some way, shape, or form. I didn't know exactly how we'd find it, but I wanted to find the place where he lets go of some toxic masculinity and generational trauma, and you can see actually the tenderness of the possibility if he allowed himself to be tender and to be loving and be caring. So we talked about that, and I think that we realize it's important to both of us, especially when it comes to depictions about black men and how people see us. It's very important to make sure that we show all the complexities. They don't have to be heroic, but they just can't be a pure villain. They've got to have all those notes and make it more complicated. So you can't just write a person off. You can actually understand them, and that's a part of healing, I think. Corey and I, we love to laugh a lot. I think we have a great, immediately, we've known each other from New York theater, our first time working together, and everyone's so joyful. Everyone is, they have incredible work ethics as well, because these were long days. Also, it's a musical, you're singing, you're dancing, you gotta keep your body together, and it's exhausting work. Hard sets, it wasn't easy, but with that, we had to make sure we had room for laughter and that we just had some joy to remind ourselves why we're there. It just can't be about the hard work. You gotta have a lightness as well. Everyone brings a different level of expertise, and also vulnerability and rawness. I'll start with Danielle. Danielle has a big spirit, and she's smart, and she's funny, and she's very playful. She lives in a place where I'm very playful, where I can improv, I can go with you. Even when she tosses that coin at me, that was in the moment. And then she would do something different in every take, and I would give her something different in every take. When I spit into the spittoon, that was on one take. So, you know, we dance and play and see how it's going to affect the other. And we have Taraji, who is very much a very measured, studied actress who's really detailed, but also she doesn't mind going to the raw and unknown places. So you can always dance with her. And then you have Fantasia, and knowing it was her first film, I had to do something a little different with her. I had to make sure I protected her and make sure that I was answering any questions she needed and helping to guide her. And also just giving her levels of helping her with hey, how to take care of yourself for these long days. You know, it's important. Go take that nap. Don't get on your phone in between that. You're gonna need rest because you've got a lot to do and a lot to recall and bring up. So there was a different, which is wild because I play her oppressor in many ways, but I had to also nurture her and care for her and make sure that she was so loved and knew that she could do all the heavy work she had to do too, while I had to do the heavy work that I had to do. Louis Gossett Jr. comes on set and in the presence of history. That is a legend. And what he brings a gravitas and a curiosity and history, and it's just all in his body. It's in his eyes. It's the way he looks at you. He's fine with just sitting with you. And we found that one incredible moment of us just sitting across at the table at the end of the Easter scene. Blitz started to see us build that little by little, and then Blitz also gave us the direction, say, let it linger, let it last. There's a conversation happening. Just let the conversation happen. And he didn't say what it was, but we knew, because all you have to do is look into a person's eyes. He knew the character and his soul. And so there was a conversation happening in that moment. I love working with Louis Gossett Jr. I hope audiences just get their purple out and get to the movie theaters, because it is a communal experience. It will feel like church. It'll feel like a Broadway play or musical. It'll feel like a revival. That's what I felt when I was at the opening last night. It is something you have to experience with each other, because there's a conversation happening on that screen. There's a conversation happening in the audience. It's what we do best in the movie theater. So Christmas Day, get your purple out, bring your family, and go watch a story about hope and generations and family and renewal and rebirth. It's such a celebration of family, I think, at the end of the day. And also the triumphs that can happen when you stare your adversity in the eye and you overcome it. And joy comes, and joy comes, and joy comes.
It feels sweet. You know, you get some moments in your life that are indefinable in their sense of poignancy and meaning and the kind of thing you will never, ever forget. And this is one of those moments. I will have to say that the 85, 86 Color Purple experience for me with Steven Spielberg, Quincy Jones, Alice Walker was one of those seminal moments that became life-changing for me and altered the course of my career in many ways. It changed the way I operated in the world, being a part of the Color Purple. And so to come, you know, full circle, I mean, it's a full 40-year circle for me to get to this moment. And there is just nothing sweeter. There's just nothing sweeter. Blitz Bazawule had the visionary propulsion that was needed to take what we had done on Broadway to a level that would be received, accessible, entertaining, and really an exciting venture for people to be a part of, an exciting experience. So it was visionary propulsion that he had, that we loved. From the moment that we heard on a Zoom call, it was all of the producers listening to various other directors. And then he came in. He was the last person that we heard and the first person that we all agreed on. There were other directors that some people said, yeah, I think he's good. I give my vote, give my vote. He's the only guy that everybody said, he gets our vote. The story will endure forever. It will endure as long as people need hope. And I think even with AI and all the technological advances that we have in phones and social media, people will always need hope. So the story will endure, will survive, and will thrive in the hearts of people who want to know what it means to forgive, who want to see what it is to have connection, who want to know what it means to thrive in a world that doesn't see you as you know you should and could be seen, who doesn't, in a world that may not recognize you for who you are and what you have to offer it. As long as there are people who feel put down, unseen, oppressed in any way, and can wish for, dream for, imagine a path and a journey to victory for themselves, as long as there's a need for victory, as long as there's a need for triumph, this story will endure. This ensemble cast is not like it. There is nothing like them. First of all, every time you get us together, it's a church service. It is a communion, it's a reunion, it's a joyful, deep expression of friendship and kinship and communion. Just the best ensemble cast I've ever seen. And so that was carefully curated. We talked about every single person that you now see on screen. For me, it was really important for people to look like they came from the same families, because I think the mistake that's often made in films with Black people where there's family orientations, and you don't have Black people behind the camera who understand, oh, those two people could not have had that baby. Those two people, what is that child doing in that family? You know, so the fact that, first of all, Phylicia, who plays young Celie, has the physical resemblance and was able to embody many of the physical characteristics of Fantasia, the older Celie, really important and on purpose. The fact that Halle Bailey actually could have grown up to be Sierra, really important. And I just feel like every role that was cast was done with, oh, that character in mind. And you know, now that you look at the film, you can't imagine anybody else playing those roles. I mean, I, who embodied Sophia and loved Sophia, could not imagine anybody other than Danielle taking over that position. And one of the great, great delight, joys of my life is to be able to hand that baton over to her. And so what was, you know, the iconic "you told Harpo to beat me" moment for me, I know for her it's going to be respect and don't keep me waiting. It didn't have the buoyancy and the level of joy that this rendition has. And I think the buoyancy and the joy actually come up out of the soulfulness of the songs, of the music. And also, we get to see a rendition of Mr. that isn't just a mean guy abusing his wife and walking through the world being this mean person, but you get to see the layers. You get to see the moments in the juke joint where he said, basically he's saying, I could have been a contender. I could have been in Suge's band if I wanted to, but I had to stay here and farm the land. In the moments when he's reminiscing on the porch and his father comes along and says, you got your hoe in this house, and why is she there? And he says, don't call her a hoe, because she's not a hoe. She's just a person who had a wild heart just like me. You know, and we're just alike, but she got to live her dream and I didn't. I mean, so there are these layers to the story that bring us to this moment in a way that I think so relatable, because this is what I learned in all those years of doing the Oprah show. There are only like 6, 7 different stories of jealousy, of loss, of triumph, of sadness. And this story embodies all of the elements that we go through in this journey in our lives. I mean, everybody's felt some sadness, and everybody's felt moments of being unseen, and everybody's felt times where they were not validated, and everybody's had those moments where no matter what you've been through, you're like, I'm still here. And I think if you can make that your own song, if any part of that is your own song, I've been through a lot, but I'm still here, then this is a movie that's going to lift you even higher.